Hey everybody, this is Eric Brady. I know it's been a long break. I've just been doing lots of things that are not necessarily homeowner friendly. This is a quick video about reverse osmosis. In my area, the water is pretty hard, and for drinking water, you want filtered water. Generally, I mean, I drink the water here and it's fine, but a lot of people don't like the taste, and it's got lots of calcium. It's very alkaline. So they have these filter systems. If you see this underneath your sink, it's a point reverse osmosis as opposed to a whole house reverse osmosis, and you generally have one of these tanks. So the way it works is the water comes in off the cold water. This happens to be in a bathroom. Has a shut-off valve right there. Feeds into the system, goes through a pre-filter, a secondary filter, and then the reverse osmosis usually are last two. So you'll have 3 or 4 of these cartridges, and these can be changed out. Then you have the blue water supply. You can see this goes around to here. And then mine actually has a T on it. This is a fitting. The left T goes to the refrigerator. So ice maker, water filler there. And then the blue goes up to the filler that's on top of the sink here. And then the red line comes out the back. That's for back flushing. The system will back flush or clean itself periodically. That comes around and goes into the drain. Now, on some areas, you need what's called an air gap, and that's to keep, say you have a backed up sink, and for whatever reason you pull a vacuum in the system, you don't want to suck that dirty water back into your filter system. So you have an air gap, which essentially, if the sink were to back up or the vacuum were to be pulled on this, air would go in this hole. This is the old one that failed. It actually failed at the air gap connections. You can see I don't have that on the new one. But if this goes up to the counter height, in most jurisdictions, that's still okay. You can have an air gap or what's called an air loop, and that keeps that suction from pulling out. Probably not as scientifically sound as an actual air gap. That's why it's required in some areas. But the chances of that, of course, are low. And if you have a vacuum event, then, it's probably a good time to flush your filter or change it anyway. So, I'm not going to comment on that other than the way I'm doing it here is acceptable in my area. Things you need to know for maintenance. This is the pressure tank. This essentially runs water through it very slowly. It's not like a standard filter. You would not get good flow through this. So what this does is it accumulates in the accumulator tank. Water backs up into here. And when you open the tap, the pressure that's in this tank, there's a rubber membrane in the middle, pushes the water out at a rate faster than the filters can generate it. So I'm always telling people, hey, you got a nipple on here and you need to maintain the pressure. So it should be set at the same pressure as your home water pressure. Typically anywhere between 50 and 80 psi is kind of the range we like to see it. This one was totally discharged. You can see data manufacturer 2006. So more than likely the rubber membrane on this one's failed. It was reading 0 pressure because the system had been deactivated and turned off. If there was a rubber membrane in here, it should have retained its pressure. So it was actually down at 0 pressure when I started pumping it up. I pumped it up to 30, which is quite a bit on a bike pump. So, good workout. Anyways, so we're just kind of diagnosing and troubleshooting. This was deactivated when we bought the house, and I'm just trying to get it up and running again. So this actually comes off of here. You can see it's just like a bike filler, and then there's usually a cover, little hat that gets screwed on here, keeps debris and whatnot out of there. So usually same thing with your expansion tank on your hot water. It basically works under the exact same concept. Anyways, that's it. That's reverse osmosis. Bye.